I think I'm live on YouTube now. Yeah, so now let me say this. Um, I have uploaded on the website. The website is having a lot of changes. Is there are different things that I'm getting ready to put up there, product wise, and so forth and so on. However, I have added in. If you are not able to be a part of any of the classes, I have added on the website the manifestation and multiplication class, the ancestor one-on-one class, the tarot class, the psychic development class. Ooh, excuse me, and the curse breaking class. It's these sparkling waters that are wearing me out. Okay. And so I have added those. Hi, Khadijah. Hey, Lilo. I have added those to my website. So if you're like, dang, I'm glad I didn't get a chance to take the ancestor class, their ancestor class is available, as well as previous classes that I've had before. Protection class is available. The cleansing and purification class is available. The wealth and abundance class is also available, as well as two smaller ebooks, one with my Florida water recipe, and the other for breath and breathing techniques. Okay. So I would encourage you to slide on over there. If you go to the link in my bio, you could access that. If you go to the description, you could access that, bio.site / darcellandre. On YouTube, it's in the description. TikTok, it's in my bio. And you will see the Inner Light Academy. And that's where the classes are found. Okay. So make sure you go there and get your live, because I do like to talk. But sometimes I don't want to talk about the same thing forever and ever. Sometimes, I don't want to talk about the same thing. Sometimes I want to switch it up, and that's just a part of it. Y'all, one thing y'all know about me is that I'm gonna eat a what? Tangerine. If a tangerine is present, if a pineapple is present, I'm going to dine upon it. I'm gonna dine upon it. So if you're like you want to get those classes, they are available. And what will happen is you will purchase the class and you will receive access to or email with the document, the PDF that will have the link and other information on there as well. So you can watch the class. And once you have it, you have access to it forever and ever. Okay. Only thing I ask that you do not share the class with anybody else, because if you share it, then you are playing yourself. So, because you're giving somebody something you pay for free. Ain't that crazy? Okay. So the purpose of today, we have a spiritual Q&A. And I have my Cash up there in the event that anyone feels like they want to ring the Cash App for a donation sake for the information coming today. It is not because there are services being given. Well, it is a service, but it's not for a reading. You don't need to hit the Cash App to ask a question. That's not what this is about. Okay. So let me scroll it at the bottom of the screen. How about that? Okay. So that's not what this is about. But what I wanted to talk about, and you all can get your questions ready. Again, this is a space for you to ask me questions about spirituality, or about things related to spirituality, to holistic wellness, and just my thoughts on things, religion, so forth and so on. And I will give you what I have from the perspective that I have. I will also tell you, if I don't know anything about it, I'll say find somebody else. Find somebody else, because I don't know anything about it. So that's what this is for, and this is what this is about. And I reserve the right to change my mind. So I don't care if you watch a video a year ago and I had this one perspective, I have the right to change my mind. So I could have learned something else that has changed my perspective. Okay, so there you have it. So just know you may ask me today and you ask me tomorrow, and I may give you a different response because I am forever a student and always a beginner. Okay, so let's go. Let's ask some questions. In the meantime, I made a video talking about the ego. And this has been a large conversation and is a staple conversation. Hello, Priscilla. A staple conversation in the spiritual community, in the mental health community. I just taught a class in the Patreon about that, about the ego, to which I share my perspective on it as well. You find a lot of conversation about the ego death. And this is generated a lot through the psychedelic community, that, you know, you have certain herbal medicines and things like that that give you transcendent experiences. And one of the things that people say is that they experience this ego death. And also, I have seen that there are teachers and mentors or gurus or whatever that teach and say that you must, what am I on? I'm on TikTok, so I got to use different language. Unalive the ego. KI double hockey sticks the ego. And I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that. I don't believe in the concept of having to KI double hockey sticks the ego. I just don't. Your ego's horrible, Devin. I understand. Because the ego is the sense of self. And I don't believe you have to lose yourself to find God or to find the spirit. I just don't believe in that. I don't believe that you have to completely find out that you are. And I also would say the concept of an identity and individuality does not always lend itself to separatism. I believe that you can be an individual and understand that you are a part of a whole. If it is that you are not supposed to have an understanding of you as an individual, you being individualized, I would think that the spirit would have just made one person. I think that what we have to do is mature and balance the ego. We got to mature it and balance it. Because, Devin, you being who you are with your experiences and your ways of thinking, that's important to the universe. Now, you must do your work, which is what you're doing, to mature your sense of self, to develop your sense of self, and to balance your sense of self. I don't think we have to have a death. And I often find that some things just ring so traumatizing and so hard. And I just don't believe that it has to be that. I think that you need to find aspects of yourself that you know is causing issue and error in your life, in your emotions, and with others. And you need to work on and develop those areas. That's what I believe. But I don't believe that you have to go through, because if you lose your sense of self, this is right on the verge and right in the place where people slip into a mental health issue. This right here, this being disconnected from reality, that is right at the place where people lose grounding. And you get like, this is where the psychosis comes in. That's where the psychosis come in. So I just think that there is a healthier way to go about that. Just believe there's a healthier way. That's me. So I would never teach someone at this point that you need to experience that or you need to do that because it's just so horror filled. And I just don't think it has to be that. And then you can end up being on the lower end of the ego, so separate from your ego that you don't honor yourself. And religion does this a lot to people. Church does this a lot to folks where it's not me, it's all God. It's not me, it's not about me, it's about. Okay. And then you find people that work themselves to death serving a ministry that don't really care about them. I've heard so many horror stories of people who have dedicated their lives to the church, been members of a church for 50 years, and then they pass away, and the church charges the family all of this money to bury them or to host their services, or the church does their bodies wrong. And where they don't honor them and the time that they have spent. They just don't honor them. They don't honor them. And so, no, 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 no. They just they don't honor them. And I just find that to be horrific, personally. And so I think it's about maturing your ego, and it is about balancing your ego. You don't want to be hyper in your ego to where you're so self-centered that you are not considerate of other people. But you don't want to be hypo in your ego where you are so concerned with other people and not concerned with self. That's how people end up staying in relationships for the kids. I know that this man is almost going to make me want to send myself into the ancestor realm. But I'm going to stay in it for the kids. No. No. No, 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 no. Nope. Because you're going to try to stay in it for the kids and end up not being able to be there for the kids. because you done took yourself out of here because your ego was in a hypo state and you are not clear and you are not honoring yourself. So miss me with that. I'm interested in maturing the ego. I think that there's a reason for us to be who we are. I'm interested in utilizing the fullness of my life experience because I have done my healing work to find value in most all of the things that I have experienced, both the things I consider good, the things that I consider bad. And so I am using all of that. Hello, Alyssa. I'm using all of that. I'm using the fullness of that. I'm not trying to separate myself from myself, because self is all that I have. That's the only, let me tell you something. And let's just look at it like this. The only thing that you know is real for a shadow, I mean, not without a shadow of a doubt, excuse me. I was going to say for a fact. For a fact and without a shadow of a doubt is you. You know that you are real. Why? Because you are experiencing life. That's the only thing that you can know without a shadow of a doubt is real, is me. As to say, to lose self, oh, let me button this up a little bit. It's just too, I have to have, wait a minute. I'm just too loose out here. I can't be this loose. I can't be this loose out here. I don't want the children to get the wrong idea. I can't be this loose out here in these. You know what? I'm gonna take it all the way up to the top because holiness is right. I I I'm gonna take it up to the. I have to take it to the top. Holiness is right. I can't be out here hanging and swinging. Holiness, holiness is right. Holiness, holiness is right. Holiness. Now, let me tell you something. Y'all didn't want to see chess. Click go somewhere else. Now, you're gonna see all of these heart coils. You're gonna see all of these heart coils. I see some of the stuff y'all be wearing. Y'all don't care. Everything be loose. Y'all gonna see all of these chest coils. All of the chest coils. Okay. Now, these are the chest coils, the CCs, the texture, the texture, texture, texture. And guess what y'all gonna get? Y'all, and guess what? Y'all not gonna get nothing else but this situation back here until I get ready. Okay, because let me tell you something. You got to own yourself. You move at your own timing. Move at your own pace. Move at your own pace. Anyways, hello. But yeah, so I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, we're not doing the destroying the ego and all that stuff. Mature your ego. Elevate, expand your ego. Okay? And balance it. That's what I'm saying. Half these people, there's so many people who are going through just, I mean, click on, just look at the lives on TikTok, for example. And there are the children, they are going through the things. They are going through it. I just don't believe that. I mean, truly, they're going through the things. You can literally see people going through spiritual warfare. Truly. And guess where the war is at? In their mind. So I don't even know if it's spiritual warfare as much as it is internal turmoil, as much as it is um, unhealthy thought patterns, as much as it is the mind being unwell. You know, because I'm just sit there and I'm just like, if somebody could put a comment in the comment and ask you a question just on what you said, and you start popping off at them, I have a concern. I have a concern. Okay? I am concerned about that. Because why are you so volatile? We got to get balance. The ego is not together. Got to get that together. You know, so there's been a lot. And that's why I also say on this spiritual journey, because there is a lot of different things. There is a lot of information. There's a lot of different forms of practice, right? There's a lot of different religions. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different conspiracies. And I'm telling you, I want you to ask yourself, is this helpful? Is this something that's helpful to me? Or is this something that's harmful? So why is the spirit coming to you to talk to you? Hold on, let me put my do not disturb on. Why is the spirit coming to you to talk to you about Tupac? Why is why I just have questions. You are saying that the spirit is telling you, or yeah, the spirit is telling you that you have to, that this is what really happened to Tupac. Hi, Shayla. Tupac, are you getting? Did you know Tupac? Are you friends with Tupac's family member? Is there? What is the What is the reason? What is the reason? I have concerns that you're telling me that Biggie Smalls is coming to talk to you. I have concerns because about what? It would be one thing if you are in proximity to that world and you are working in that industry and you are getting ready to sign a record deal with the same person that worked with Biggie Smalls, and Biggie Smalls' spirit came to you and stopped you, then I could understand that. But if you are a regular person in the depths of Tennessee, working your at home 9 to 5, I don't know what Biggie Smalls is coming to you to talk about. That's what I'm trying to say. In addition to that, people who, when we think about these, who's really a reptilian? Which one is a droid? Who, what are they doing in the secret parties? I heard that they're doing satanic rituals and sacrifices and all that. What is it profiting you to go down that rabbit hole? And I'm not going to say that there are not strange situations and strange things in this world, because there are. There are. And there are things that nobody knows about. Well, we don't know about. I'm sure I know that. However, is you searching 5 hours a day on the reptilians and the dragons, how is that helping you grow? So this is why, and I know that the way that I communicate this is funny, because yes, I get that. But what I'm trying to say is, ask yourself, is your investment helpful to you? Is there a return that you are experiencing that is helpful to you? And the lie detector has determined no, that is not helping. So we just have to get the mental health got to be right. I would stop practicing something that has me scared all day long. I would stop talking to people. I would stop following people. I would stop ingesting content that has me frightened. Because all of these people who have said the government's getting ready to do this, I am still waiting for my insides to be liquefied from having taken the COVID shot, the vaccine. Have y'all insides liquefied yet? You got people who are spiritual down, jumping in the fifth, sixth, seventh dimension, but it's saying that the vaccine was the mark of the beast. So now you believe in the Bible. But I just thought that your whole the thing about this is that it's just, how is the thought helping you? That's my question. And I'm not saying that anybody should do anything that they don't want to do. I think that you need to always ask yourself the question like this: do you think that the government will wait until 2020 to start an action plan when you have been getting all types of shots and vaccines and all that since you was born? They would have been done got you already. So I've heard some people was like, don't deal with. Someone was on TikTok saying, don't talk to people that have gotten the vaccine, like they're not themselves anymore. And then I click over and these same people are smoking cigarettes, drinking all types of alcohol, eating all types of food. So the stuff that we know that's harmful for a fact, you don't have a problem with that. Got you. Right. You don't have a problem. Do we need to see what are the ingredients in in nicotine cigarettes? Acetone, found in nail polish remover. Ammonia, a household cleaner. Acetic acid, an ingredient in hair dye. Arsenic, used in rat poison. Benzene, found in rubber, cement, and gasoline. Butane, used in lighter fluid. Cadmium, active component in battery acid. Carbon monoxide, released in car exhaust fumes. Formaldehyde, embalming fluid. Hexamine, found in barbecue lighter fluid. Lead, used in paint and batteries. Naphthalene, an ingredient in mothballs. Menthol, a main component in rocket fuel. Nicotine, used as an insecticide. Tar, material for paving roads. But you are worried about the vaccine? So again, we have to get the mind right. And everybody got their opinions. You can decide what you have in your body, but I want you to get the reason. Be reasonable about the reason. All the fear mongering. Let me tell you something. That's just like when we have the end of the world stuff that come up every year. It's always going to be the end of the world. It's always going to be the end of the world. So it's like when we have the end of the world conversation and everybody run out to get water and buy up food. So everything in the world is going to end except for you. We got to use the mind. Everything in the world is going to end except for you. That's why I'm like, what is it? What is it, my dad? What is this? Imagine that everything is going to end in the world except. Got it. That's strange. So, anyways, I just believe that the mind has to be well. We got to make sure the mind is well, because otherwise, we're going to be doing some very strange things. Child, it said there are 600 ingredients in cigarettes. When burned, cigarettes create more than 7,000 chemicals. So, okay, come with this. I'm giving y'all at least 30 minutes to come with some questions if you want to ask some questions. Good God Almighty. Good God Almighty, y'all. Cigarettes taste good, but they are bad for you. I guess I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've heard that. I've heard that though. People really loving the taste of them. I get it. And it's addictive. I understand that. But the only I'm just bringing that up an example of like all of these and so you just got to be careful. So when you start going down the extraterrestrial conversation and the aliens messages from the Pleiades. I'm and if that's your thing, my thing with the Pleiades conversation is those are not that's not spiritual. All that's physical. What about the soul? So I'm not gonna be putting on no hats, crystal. I'm just not finna be doing that, trying to call out to the aliens. I don't want to talk to them. Okay. How can I hear directly from spirit? Katina asks. Always a little confused and unclear when I use tarot cards or have dreams about the messages I'm receiving. So, one, so you said when you use tarot cards, you are confused. So, when you use the or unclear, so is it that you use the tarot cards and are you asking a specific question? Are you asking in a specific direction, or are you doing like a general reading or something of your for yourself? Because that matters, right? I would definitely say in that space, intentionality matters, as to say, get very specific about the questions. Um, you know, uh, um, I think I have let me see. Um, yes. Oh, yes, Sam. You're asking specifically. Okay. And then we're still getting confusion. Okay, so what I would say with this is so there is something that is happening between the message coming through and the processing and the receiving of the message. So there's two different things that I would say. Make sure that when you're using your tarot that you're calling in your energies and you're calling in the spirit. Because when you call in your ancestors, you call in your energies, they are specifically they know what it is that you need to hear. They know that, right? And so make sure that you're doing that. What I will also say is that sometimes we need to, that's an indication of a third eye problem, a third eye or a crown chakra issue. Okay, so I would definitely recommend a head cleansing or using some type of oil. Even if you use a essential oil like sandalwood or rosemary or something like that that you diluted because rosemary is strong, and you sort of anoint the head, but keeping the head cleansed. I have a spray. Where's my spray? Hold on. I have made myself a spray that I put in a good old hoodoo blue bottle. Okay. And I use this as it's a cleanser. And so I always spray my hands or I spray my head to make sure that I am clear. So I would say, even if you have Florida water you use or something of that nature, to cleanse the head and make that a regular thing, because when we just can't quite get the message or it is unclear, we gotta clear the crown. So I would suggest you doing yourself a head washing. You could do a head washing with star anise, with rosemary, especially because star anise is great for opening up that field there. So I would do star anise, I would do rosemary, and maybe some coconut milk. Okay, and use that as a head washing. Or you maybe make some mint as well. Mint is really good for that. You know, um, yeah, and use that to sort of cleanse the head, because there's an issue with the receiving of the information, a processing of the understanding of the information that is being given to you. So I would say that, because sometimes we just have a lot of energy that rests on top of the head, and we got to leave that. And so the other thing is too, like for me, I wear, a lot of people see me wear these, and for some reason it has translated to me having an insecurity about my bald head. That's not the case. Okay. I just have to, I wear this because I know my sensitivity, and I know that I have to protect my crown, because I know that I can get overwhelmed and overstimulated and it'll be too much energy. Too much energy. And so I have to protect my head, because I've had experiences where, because I'm so open and because my abilities are what they are, I'm so spiritually sensitive, which a lot of us are spiritually sensitive. I can pick up energies, along the way. And so I have to keep my head covered. Or if I don't cover my head, I just have to make sure that I'm cleansing my head. So, and I just have to make this look good and it's fashionable. So there you have that. That's just that part. So that's what I'd say. Okay. And also with your cards, you sometimes, and this is a very traditional hoodoo way. But sometimes you got to refresh your cards. Okay, refresh your cards, refresh your spiritual tools. Make sure you're cleansing your tools. So if the deck is not, like, it just feels like the energy is not giving what it's supposed to be gave, refresh it. Okay, there's folks, some you can refresh it with some cornstarch. Shuffle it, refresh it with the cornstarch. To sort of refresh the energy there, rejuvenate the energy. You know, so sometimes it's also that. Okay, but I think it's the head. So we gotta wash and cleanse the head. Okay. Um. Earlier were you talking about not using shrooms or psychedelics and trying to reach an ego state? No, 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 no. I was saying that I was just simply talking about the conversation of ego death and removing of the ego, and how there are individuals who promote, and I know that the ego death concept comes from a psychedelic perspective, from a medicine perspective, herbal medicine perspective. I just brought that up, and I was saying that I just don't believe that we need to experience an ego death or we need to separate ourselves from the ego to get closer or more in tandem with the spirit. And that's what I was saying. Um, but I'm not going to speak on the use of psychedelics because I'm not well versed in that area. So I'm not going to say whether it is or good or whether it isn't good or anything like that. I just don't believe that, I don't believe that you have to do that. Some people teach that that has to happen. You gotta, remove the ego. And I don't believe that. I think you need to, mature it. Darcel, do you believe in twin flames, or is that something the children made up? I I do believe in twin flames. Um, um, Give me 1 second. Because it's not a new concept. Twin flame is not a new concept. It has been popularized, but the concept of the soul splitting into two, and the half seeking the other half is something that is ancient. Now it may not have been utilized, or the language twin flame may not have been utilized in those places, in those cultures, but I do believe that is so, because I have had an experience with someone who, and because twin flame is the only language that I know for it, that was definitely, or that is definitely my twin flame. I know for a fact. And I know because of the electricity that was between us. And I knew because of the synchronizations that was occurring all around us all the time in a ridiculous way. As I'm talking about him now, it's 47 minutes, and 47 is his number that he had tattooed on his wrist. And 47 is also a very spiritual number for me, as it connects me to my dad. So in real time, okay, so I know that is true. But I don't believe that every twin flame is the goal, or the part of the twin flame, or the purpose is to teach you what it has learned on its journey, not for y'all to necessarily be in relationship, best friends, married, have kids. That's why a lot of twin flames show up and reflect to you them, or rather you yourself, excuse me, and you reflect to them their own selves. But they reflect to you. So I definitely believe in it, because I have experienced it. Yeah, I hear the reptile thing with people that do DMT and stuff like that. And that's what I'm talking about. I just mm-mm. Next. Um Spiritual tips for grief healing after loss. I'm sorry, I read that all wrong. Any suggestions for grief healing after loss? Spiritual tips? Yes. I would definitely honor the spirit that has transitioned. I would not hop to a space of trying to connect and contact, because when you open yourself up to the spiritual realm with the energy of desperation, you will settle for any energy that shows up. Okay. And that may not be an energy that is the energy that you think it is. Furthermore, the trying to communicate with them so quickly could also lead you to mentally being unwell. But honoring the soul and the energy that has transitioned is definitely something that is healthy, peace inducing, okay, and can help you move forward in the grieving process. So I would definitely say honor. The other thing that I would definitely say is to cleanse, and white baths in particular um, are really good. White baths, because they are calming, because they are peace inducing. White baths are really good. So a white bath is when you take coconut milk. You could take cool herbs, mint, um, lemon balm. Um, I'm sending mine. You can just send me mine through. Okay, I'll do it for you, but I'm not doing readings right now. But I'll do it for you. But I could send you yours through audio. You need a good little check in. And also, you high profile, so we can't be having your stuff in the streets. Okay. We got to keep it private. But yeah, so you want to do that white bath. And do that consistently. Even if you have to do it as a weekly thing, I think that's a great thing to do to help with that grieving energy. Okay. So coconut milk, white flowers, mint, any cool herbs, and also with this, the water, don't be having this hot boiling water. It needs to be cool, because the white bath is going to cool the energy, but the colder water shocks the energy up out of the body. Okay. You're not getting in there to be chilling. Okay. Yes. Now it's like, dear God. Yeah. So that's what I would suggest. Hmm. Kiana says, I think I can sense when spirits enter the room when I'm at work or home, never in public. And sleep paralysis has been coming more frequently. I've always had this both, but it's happening more now. I meant when I'm at work or home, I'm never public. Kind of makes me feel like I'm tripping, going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. So, I am not well versed in the sleep paralysis conversation, but what I will say is that Queen Poe has a great conversation, a great um, video on sleep paralysis and all of that, and lucid dreaming, and just that whole space. So I would definitely recommend you going over there and checking out Queen Poe and her video on that. What I will say is that being able to sense spirits into the room, that's just a part of your ability. If you're sensitive and you can sense energy um, shifting around, You know what I'm saying? Then that's just what you have. That's just an ability. Okay. So congratulations. Now, the sleep paralysis thing, though, happening more consistently is an indication of imbalance. Okay. However, I would say if you go on YouTube and look at Queen Poe, type in Queen Poe sleep paralysis, and she gives a lot of information on that. Um, so I don't think you're going crazy. I just think that you need to get better about protecting your energy, okay, and under and accept the fact that you have the abilities that you do. Sometimes it stresses us out because we're moving in resistance to that, you know. Yeah, you have to yeah, you got to just protect your energy. Tourmaline is very powerful crystal that is used that protects your energy. Now what I will say is that before you put that tourmaline on, make sure you do a cleanse of yourself, because tourmaline will put a barrier. And now the problem with that is that if you need to get something off of you and you have created an energetic barrier for that, well, it ain't gonna work. So make sure to cleanse yourself. But I would suggest wearing tourmaline when you go into these places. Okay. Or keeping tourmaline, and make sure that you're cleansing your home so you just don't have energies coming in and out of your threshold. You have to protect your home, ward your door. You know, that's what I would say to do. Make sure that you're cleansing the thresholds, window sills. You know, sea salt does wonders. You can do sea salt and garlic salt in the door frame and the windows, so forth and so on. Kind of scared of it, honestly, because because the spirit isn't familiar for me, I don't want them here. Right. That's why you have to keep your space cleansed and warded. Okay. Got it. Let me see. Got it. Um, hold on one second, y'all. Sorry, give me one second. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Um, can you talk about High John the Conqueror, please? Do you need to venerate him before working with him? When do you need him? So, if you're going to work, well, one, High John the Conqueror is a very respected, and it is a elevated energy in hoodoo tradition. High John the Conqueror um, is used for overcoming, for fighting through, I'm sorry, oppression, for, you know, any type of systemic shutdowns or obstacles, that you have, High John is used for that. If you are wanting to work with High John the Conqueror root, that's one thing. If you are wanting to work with the spirit of High John the Conqueror, then, of High John himself, then that's a different conversation. Some people believe that you can use the root without necessarily conjuring or working with the spirit. However, what I will say is High John the Conqueror is an elevated spirit. Okay, so there's wellness there. And being African American origin, if you're going to do an offering for High John the Conqueror to assist you with something that you're going through, then food that is traditional Black American food is something that you would make as an offering. And the color purple is associated with High John. And so a purple candle or something of that nature would be good. Sometimes people use like whiskey. But in any time before you work with a spirit or anything, you always want to divine and ask your spirit team, is this something that you should do or should not do? Okay. And so, yeah, you would use High John as to overcome obstacles in particular. And High John is also really used for like travel protection during travel. And so a lot of people use Mojo Bass and put some High John the Conqueror root there. But what you have to understand is from a hoodoo perspective, if you're doing workings, you already have an offering present for the ancestors that are assisting you with that working. Okay, so yes, anytime you want to work, you're working with a spirit, even if it's a spirit that is of the herbs, because there's a spirit in herbs and things like that. You always want to honor the spirits that you are working with or the energies that you're working with. Okay, but he is really used for overcoming obstacles. And the herb is used for that. The root, excuse me, is used for that. You're a wonderful counselor, mighty God. Not that song. Okay, let me tell y'all something. I gotta hit the road, Jack, because I have a client that I have to go see. Okay, so I'm getting ready to end the live. My prayers to be back later on, but that doesn't always work out for me. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I love y'all from a life filled place. Go forth, conquer, do the right thing. Remember, if you're wanting to purchase any of those classes, I have my manifestation multiplication class available, ancestor one-on-one class, tarot class, psychic development class, curse breaking class, prosperity and abundance class, clearing and cleansing class, protection class. I have all of that available. Okay, so slide over there. All right, click the link in the bio, the Inner Lighthouse Academy. That is where you will find all that. Okay. All right, y'all. Peace, everybody.